Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on the Kingte Business Journal. This is Ghana Votes 2024. My name is Akote Amwakwata, and this is our very first YouTube live discussion that we are having with regards to the 2024 elections. Ghana heads to polls on December 7th, this Saturday, to choose a new president. And we here in Ghana have been monitoring proceedings, monitoring how the feel in the country is and what is happening. So today I'm being joined by members of the two leading parties, which is the New Patriotic Party, that's the incumbent party, and the opposition, National Democratic Congress. As I said earlier, this is our first YouTube live stream on the Kingte Business Journal with regards to our coverage of the 2024 elections. So, without wasting much time, I'd like to go into introducing my co-host, Nana Kwekujia. He's going to join us shortly, and then we kickstart the discussion from there. I also have Nawaf Isaku, who is the University of Ghana's SRC Intelligence and Student Affairs Committee head, and he will be representing his interest, which is with the New Patriotic Party. I also have Steve Digby, who is the who is a member of the Greater Accra Regional Communications Team of the National Democratic Congress (NDC). So let me start with my first guest, Nawaf.
Hello, Mr.
Yes,
Eko.
thank you very much for joining us. I can see that you were very busy this evening, but I really appreciate your efforts to join us on this discussion.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so as we wait for our other panelists, I'd like to start a conversation with you with regards to um, how young people are engaged in this 2024 general elections in Ghana. How do you think the engagement has been so far? Is there interest among young people going into the polls this year?
Oh, yes. There is enough interest in the young people, which is the youth in general, because the youths are coming all out this election based on the benefits they have from each of the governments, whether previous or the incumbent. And most of them too are first time voters. And the first time voters have the percentage more than even some of the previous youths who voted before. And the interest is also high because when we talk about the works of the incumbent government, this incumbent government has really provided the opportunity and the space for most of the youths to get access to education. And when this happens, we all know how everybody is so happy when they get so much access to education and not dropping out. So, with this, I think most of the youths are going to pay back to this current government for what they've done to the education system in regards to their own benefits.
All right. Thank you, Nawab, for your input. I think Stephen has joined us. Stephen Digbe, who is the member of the communications team of the Greater Accra NDC. Steve, can you hear me? Hello, Steve. Steve, can you hear me, please?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your efforts in joining today's live stream. Earlier on, I was asking your colleague from the NPP how engaged young people have been from your part with regards to the 2024 elections.
Well, let me say good evening to.
Hello, Steve. Can you hear me? We seem to have lost your audio, Steve. Hello, Steve. Are
In
you there?
attempting to con-
All right, we seem to have lost Steve on the line. Then we'll have to go back to Nawaf to continue. Let's continue the conversation as Steve prepares to come back.
All right.
Okay, I think Steve is back on the line. Let's see if we can get him to talk. Hello, Steve. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Okay, yeah, we lost you earlier on. So, can you kindly take us through your response?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, young people have been at the center of our campaign several months ago, running into this election. I mean, it's
Okay.
not just the heat of the moment, but I'm talking to you as someone who has really been on the ground, engaged with a lot of young people, someone who has monitored trends on social media.
Hello, Steve. We lost your audio again. Okay, we'll come back to Steve. We'll come back to Steve. So Nawaf, as we wait for Steve, can you kindly tell me if you don't agree with the statistics that state that there's a lot of apathy among young voters this year? A lot of people, who are not affiliated to either of these two parties are finding, it difficult to make a decision. And it looks like most of them are not going to exercise their franchise on Saturday. How can you speak to that?
Oh, I don't think that is true. I
Okay, now
think
I've kindly hold on. I think Steve is back. I think Steve is back. Hello, Steve. Okay, we still haven't connected his audio yet. Okay, kindly continue now, please.
all right. So, in regards to the question you asked concerning I mean, let me put it this way: floating voters or something.
No, I
I
asked
don't.
about apathy among young people towards the two parties, the two major parties.
I didn't get that well.
So I'm asking that the statistics say that there's higher apathy towards the two parties among young people.
Yes, yes, and
So how
that's
do
true.
you speak to that?
Yes, there is higher apathy. Yes, it's true because, um, like I said earlier on, the youths who have benefited from this government are now seeing the need to retain the government so the government can do more for them. So that's why there's so much apathy in showing interest to vote for both. I mean, showing interest to vote for these two leading political parties in the country now. Yes, some people can complain that maybe the economy is so bad, and so due to that they are going to cast their vote for the opposition party for them to retain the seat. But I don't see it that way. I see it in a way that most of the youths are going to vote massively for this incumbent government because of how they have made them get access to, I mean, free education, and also made them whom they are now. Yes.
All right. I understand that we have some, music from the
Yes.
daily
Yes.
campaign trails
Yes.
passing by. It's perfectly
Yes.
normal. I mean, we are in that season. I
Yes.
think Steve is back. Let me see if I can get him to contribute his views to the conversation. Hello, Steve.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
I,
Thank you so
I
much
need to
for coming
apologize.
back.
Yeah, I need to apologize for the struggles and difficulties
It's
and all.
absolutely fine. I mean, technology, so
I must say,
we could, yeah.
I
Please
must say,
continue.
we haven't we haven't left young people out at all of our campaign. Whatever has been going on, they've been at the center of it. In fact, I would dare say young people have rather taken the party upon their shoulders to project what we stand for, to explain our policies, to defend the name Mahama, to defend the NDC, associate openly with the NDC at all times. And I feel very proud about this as a member of that political party. And ultimately, it's the same young people that we are dependent on to deliver us that victory that we so much desire. So I am certain. There is no ambiguity. There is no. I can confidently say without any fear of contradiction that President Mahama and the NDC are going to get one of the biggest, if not the biggest, electoral victories in our history since '92, particularly.
Okay.
I say that.
Before you make your predictions, I want to bring this in because when we talk about young people with regards to this election, one of the major topics that comes up is free education, free secondary education. We've heard a lot from the NPP as well as the NDC. But from your personal view, how is
Yeah.
your party preparing to tackle this issue of free SHS? Because that's the center of the young people's involvement, whether you're NDC or NPP.
Okay. Is it free SHS or you are talking about other policy?
Yes, free senior high school.
Yeah.
Steve, can you kindly be stationed for us? Can you kindly stand at one place for us? Hello, Steve. I think, yeah, Steve. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. The network seems to be. Steve,
Hello.
Steve, if you can hear me, kindly stand at one place. If you can hear me, kindly stand at one place so that we'll be able to have stable connection. All right. Let me bring in Nawaf once again. So, Nawaf, before Steve comes back, um can you tell us if political parties or politicians have done enough in including young people in the decision-making process as a country?
Please, can you repeat that again?
Has political parties or politicians done enough in including young people in the decision-making process of the country?
Yes, I think they have, but not to the satisfactory of the young people.
Then
Yes,
that is not enough.
yes, and there is no way you can tell me that maybe other countries have provided enough attention to including, I mean, the young people in decision making. They pay attention, all right, but not to the fullest. It's a reality we all must face.
But there are clear examples in places like Botswana and some parts of East Africa. But hold on, let me bring in my other guest. Nana Kwekudria has joined us on the line. So let me bring him. Nana, you're welcome to our conversation this evening on your Kente Business Journal. We've been talking about young people's involvement in the 2024 general election. I've been here with Nawaf and Steve. They're both representing or speaking for their interest in the NDC and then the NPP. I also want to ask if you have anything to add to the conversation so far.
Good evening, gentlemen. I believe it's all gentlemen, correct? Or we have a lady with us?
Yeah. Of course, in our
Okay.
audience, there are ladies also watching. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's
Well,
quite appropriate.
exactly. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My full name is Ahmed Nana Kokudia Ajimen. Ekwao, thank you and KBJ for inviting me. I'm the CEO of Ajimen Consulting Services. We advise We advise American and Asian companies who are looking for opportunities in Africa. I spend a lot of my time in Ghana. Our goal is to bring value to the African continent. So, yes, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be a part of this conversation. Obviously, South today is very, very important. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes,
I
we
have my
can hear you.
headphones. Okay, excellent. So, yes, I'm happy to join. I'm listening so far. Thank you.
All right, Nana. Can you kindly share your views on how young people can, get involved in this election? Because a lot of statistics are pointing to the fact that there's growing apathy among young people towards the two major parties.
Please come again. There's a growing what?
Apathy. I mean,
Oh,
young
really?
people
Okay.
are stuck. Yeah.
Okay. Um, well, as far as I understand, the majority of the population in Ghana, um, I think it's about 60% of the population of Ghana is what they would consider young adults, which is anywhere from 24 years old and younger. So I think this election is a young man's election. I think obviously the future of Ghana is in the hands of the young man. And I believe that this election is more critical for the younger generation in Ghana because a lot of the young generation, if not most of them, are heavily involved in technology. Um, and I think when you look at the candidates, it's very important that this young generation really analyze who's going to be the right fit for what they already enjoy doing, which is actually playing with technology.
Okay. Okay, Nana. Thank you very much for your inputs thus far. Earlier on, I was speaking with Nawaf about if politicians have done enough in involving young people in the decision-making process so far, and if not, how can that change as we go forward?
Yeah, that's a very loaded question. Uh, when you talk about young folks and their development and what they need to be involved in or what they need to participate in any environment or in the country, politics is not exception. But the question is, how do you integrate them properly? Unfortunately for us in Africa, these politicians they prey on the young folks and they use them for the wrong reasons. So they use the young folks to serve their national or special interest when it comes to politics. But the question is, how do we integrate the young folks into politics properly? One of the things that has always bothered me about Ghana and other African countries is I've always been surprised how the constitution of the nation is not a curriculum in the schools. I've never really understood that. Um, you know, I believe the Constitution is the Bible or the Quran of the nation. It's the backbone of any nation. And for young folks to come and be a true participant in Ghanaian politics or anywhere else in Africa, I think if they can integrate the Constitution into the curriculum, so from elementary school, maybe you start getting taught, pieces by pieces, and by the time you are done with high school, you actually understand what the Constitution of the nation is, and what laws or policies are governed by your nations. I think a lot of the young folks are clueless how these parliamentarians make decisions, and how much these key decisions in parliament really, really impacts them. So I believe it's very important that the young folks understand that, hey, we have a nation, and the nation is governed by what they call a constitution. No different from you having a religion and you believing in your Bible, or your Quran. The nation of Ghana is governed by a constitution. So we need the young folks, the sooner the better, to integrate themselves into understanding the constitution of Ghana so they can hold our decision makers accountable properly so that they can really protect themselves from being used for wrong reasons when it comes to politics or being served other people's special interests when it's not necessarily um, advantageous, or profitable for these young folks or whatnot. But I think the only way to avoid them being used for the wrong reasons in Africa is to really embed themselves into the Constitution. So I'm hoping moving forward, whoever wins, they can really integrate the Constitution into our everyday curriculums. And while they're teaching it, they can have real debates about how laws operate, how parliamentarians make decisions. These things will help the young folks become more integrated and more participants in politics, as far as I understand.
All right. All right, Anna, thank you very much for that input. I mean, it's always important that when we talk about young people, we talk about how education can be improved because it is very important that we educate the youth of the country with all the right resources and prepare them to take over as generations go by. So Nawaf, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, as a young person yourself, how do you think politicians can be able to improve when it comes to involving young people in decision making?
Okay, so they have to decentralize the decision making process and then come straight down to the student leaders. I think yes, the student leaders can give them our problems themselves, and then they add all those things and then make their policies. Yes,
Okay,
they have to engage with the student body all the time, all the time. Yes, so that's how I think it's going to work.
all right. We seem to have lost Steve on the line, but I wanted to ask something about your individual parties that you're supporting. I know that you are supporting the New Patriotic Party. Do you think your party has done enough with regards to campaigning and speaking to young people, or maybe introducing policies that would be, exciting for young people to vote for the NPP going into Saturday's election?
Okay, so I think my party has done enough. They have done enough concerning the campaigning to the young people. Enough as a government. As a government, yes. So, um, come on. So, please, I have to attend to something right now. Let me
It's
just.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I understand. Okay, Nana, can you speak to that? Can you speak to that?
Um, you know what? So I've been involved, you know, um, really behind the scenes. I've been involved with the party behind the scenes for quite some time. And, I could say that this is probably one of the most influential campaigns I have seen from Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. As far as the NPP, I don't know so much about the NDC per se, just because I don't really have an inside affiliation with them so much, even though I have some very good friends who are NDCs. I think they have great individual people within that organization. But as far as the NPP and what they have done so far, from my analysis, uh, it, you know, I think so. I think all the stars are pointing to a very unique miracle which is taking place because nobody expected Dr. Baumia to be chosen by his party because of the historical record of the Northerners not really being members. Uh, I'm sorry, not really being chosen as flag bearers or nominators to lead the party historically. So I think when he was going up against Kennedy Japan, Alan Chimantin. I mean, obviously during the primaries, everybody thought that he was probably going to lose. I know the opposition, the NDC, expected somebody else to be a flag bearer. I remember them saying that the NPP would never pick a northerner to lead the party, which is very, very unfortunate that they actually felt that way because we have moved forward. We have come so far to a point where right now, Ghana, we are all so much integrated with each other. Like everybody have some kind of other tribe within their family. You know what I'm saying? And be so intermarried with each other. I was kind of shocked that the NDC were banking on the notion that the ruling party would not select a northern to lead them. So I think that was a kind of shock for the NDC, and they had to restructure to accommodate the fact that the NPP has moved on a strategy to pick a northerner to lead the nation. Obviously, that is going to split the North in terms of the vote. Um, because historically, if it's just a northerner versus an Akan person, then mostly you get a lot of sympathizing votes, um, within a certain location because of the tribal lineages or whatnot. But right now, with both of the candidates coming from the North, I mean, I think it makes this election in terms of the North a very interesting race. I'm very curious to see what happened in the North in this election. Um, but other than that, I think he has ran a very effective campaign. Again, because he's from the North, he was able to really sell himself up north in regards to letting the people understand the difference between him and the opposition leader, which was very, very influential because I think it was very important that he was able to let the people of the North understand that even though we are both Northerners leading our parties, our respective parties, um, this is the reason why I'm different. And I
All
think his
right.
message of it is possible, I think, has also played a very big
So
role.
do you think the MPP should be confident going into this election? Is there any cause for concern?
I mean, it's elections, right? At the end of the day, as much as the ruling party has been very, very successful in implementing a certain type of policy, like the free senior high school, uh, like the whole planting for food programs, like the zip lining option to actually deliver medicine to rural areas or whatnot, or to remote areas or whatnot. I think these things are all important aspects which has helped Ghana. But the reality is, I believe there's always a concern because majority of the people in Ghana, they really are concerned about what they're going to do with their lives when they wake up in the morning. I think that's really what they care about, right? So if they can't see their everyday lives really being in, improved in a way where they can feel the difference in their pocket, obviously, there's always going to be a blame on the government. The government is the reason why I'm not feeling well in my pockets. So I think we have to move forward. I'm hoping the MPP wins, and when it wins, I'm really hoping we can move forward in educating the people of Ghana in regards to how much the outside world impacts how Ghana make decisions every day to affect the everyday Ghanaian. I think there's a lack of understanding within the general population of Ghana that, hey, the people of Ghana or the government of Ghana depend on resources from the outside. It's not necessary. Our greatest challenge, Equal, and that's probably why there's a concern for the NPP. Our greatest challenge um, is resource mobilization. The country of Ghana over the years have a hard time mobilizing resources. Of course, us in the diaspora, we contribute close to $5 billion a year in remittances to the nation. But the rest of the revenue mobilization comes from loans and grants from other nations. Depending on how you manage these resources, our fiscal policy management issues, you already know about that. We can go on and on about that. But I think because of the fact that we depend so much on outside resources, the average Ghanaian can understand that when the outside people can no longer give us money, it's very difficult to raise internal resources. And that's why Dr. Bawumia seems to be an exceptional leader because we have a structure within a nation that depend on foreign aid. Like we built the country around foreign resources. So we need a leader that is able to innovate within a broken system? Like, how do you innovate to get more resources when the outsiders no longer can help you? You know, and I think that's where John Mahama, the opposition leader, I think that's where his failure is historically. He's not able to innovate within a broken system. Um, yeah.
All right. Coming to that, you know that historically, after every 8 years of a party being in power, there's this clamor for change. There's always this, it's always become like a tradition where we see that people are sort of like tired with the party in power and always want change. And it's always been like that since 2000 because we saw the NPP, who was a very, very new party at that time, at least winning from the mighty NDC at the time, and we saw the power change again in 2008. Are we looking at the same thing in 2024, regardless of the progresses that the government has made so far, regardless of all the things that you have said? Because it's the people who have the power, it's the people who make the ultimate decision. I wish Steve was still on to speak to the NDC aspect, but since it's not here, let me ask Nawaf if he has something to say with the MPP having any cause for concern going into this election.
Okay, so I agree with you that during every two second term of every government, the citizens tend to be like, oh, okay, they are tired of the government, so they need a change to a new one or anything. But it's not counting with this current election I'm seeing. This 2024 election is something that is likely that maybe the current government may break that chain and then continue to serve because of how they are doing their works very well. If you check the records of this government, just recently, just look at the commissioning of the commissionings that the current president is doing. District hospitals, roads, I mean,
yes,
council.
Nawab, we know about all of that, but I'm asking, is there any cause for concern? Because the MPP has obviously done a lot. The same thing when the NDC were also living in 2016. They also, put in a lot of efforts, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of whatever. But the people seem to always feel a certain way towards the incumbent party. So if there's any cause for concern, that's what I want. Since you are in the camp of the youth wing of the New Patriotic Party, I want to know internally, do you guys feel any cause for concern, or everybody is very confident going into Saturday's election?
We are very confident. We know we will break the 8. So we being confident doesn't mean we are relaxed or anything. Even though we are showing them our good works, we are still working hard to convince the Ghanaian people to vote massively. So if we are having victory, we have it in a huge margin.
All right. Now, thank you very much for your input. It looks like time is not on our side. I would like to take the final words from Nana before we call it a day. Nana, please, can you share your final words for if there's anything you want to say to young people, especially going into this election?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my message for the people of Ghana is very, very simple, especially the young people. I don't even know how to say it in Tree. Maybe you can help me. Or Nawaf, maybe you can help me. I think they say something like Edidi da neya na se edidi. If anything, maybe you guys can help me. How you say it again?
I'm not good enough with that. Nawab, can you help?
No, I was
Oh, Jack. You see, or him to tree, but me tree it. All right, man. Yeah, it's some weird sometimes. Basically, as far as I understand it, is it's good to eat today, sure, but you got to think about tomorrow also. on Jamaica. So I feel like said and Kofu, if you they complain about being hungry and all this stuff. Really, my people, I have never seen anybody in Ghana who's starving with his ribs out. I think what Ghana needs is real jobs, real competent jobs, which can improve our purchasing power, which can give meaning to the average young man in Ghana who has ambition to, start a family, and add value to society. If you're not making good money from your everyday work, you can't have a good family. Um, you can't help other people. So I think what the country need, um, they need real manufacturing opportunities, right? We need industries that can really um, create jobs in the nation. Like we need industries that can come in and be able to play a role effectively within the supply and demand system rather than always importing, and putting pressure on the dollar. So when we get real industries to meet the local supply and demand, because right now I look at Ghana like an athlete who wants to go to the Olympics, but you haven't even won the nationals yet, but you want to compete at the Olympics. You have to win the nationals and then look at how competitive you can potentially be at the Olympics. So Ghana needs to build a strong microeconomy. And you can't build a strong microeconomy if you have to import all your supply and demand needs. So we need real manufacturing capacity. And I'm hoping the MPP government, when God gives them the opportunity to continue or to break the eight, um, or to continue from where they're at as a ruling party, I'm praying that they can really institute a foreign policy that attracts real manufacturing companies to come and play a role within a local economy and then be able to also serve within the African continental free trade. That will create real healthy jobs for the average young man who's coming out of high school or college in Ghana. That to me, I think is the reason why you should go vote for Dr. Bawumia because he offers options within the job creating industry where we can get manufacturing, which needs technology to be efficient and effective. And then you can also invest heavily in youth being ready for the technology industry age, which we are going into rapidly, right? So I think he's the one who have shown a track record that, hey, I believe in manufacturing ability and manufacturing comes with its own technology. And I also believe in the whole digital industry, which is able to create jobs for these young folks who are obsessed with technology. Anybody else who doesn't have that kind of track record, you cannot put your trust in somebody who's just speaking because nobody knows the future. You can only judge a person by their track record. So when you look at the two people who are going to the elections on Saturday, look at their track record. Who is more compatible to the young Ghanaians who are able to play a big role within the technology industry that have a huge human capital deficit in Ghana and Africa? To me, when you say John Mahama is that person, you have to be able to support it with a track record. If you say Dr. Bawumia is that person, you got to be able to look at his track record and use it to back him up. So from my perspective, the people of Ghana, go on Saturday, the young people, Dr. Bawumia, because he's the one who have shown a track record that, hey, I believe in what you believe. You believe in technology? I'm showing this is how technology is going to come and change Ghana. He's done it with the Ghana card. He's done it with obviously Zipline. He's done it with so many different avenues within the industry. As a vice president in the history of Ghana, he's the first vice president to lead this type of track record for the next, for whoever is coming after. Basically, he has set the bar high within the vice presidency office. And anybody who tells me otherwise is just not really being truthful. because no track record within that office of VP has proven greater than his term.
All right, Nana,
So
thank you very much for joining us. I'll take the last words from Nawaf, and then we call it a day for today. Nawaf, kindly give us your last words to young people, fellow young people who will be making a decision on Saturday. Nawaf, we can't see you. Hello, Nawaf. All right, we seem to have lost Nawaf right at the end. So this is the end of our discussion on the Kente Business Journal. We were speaking about the involvement of young people in the 2024 general elections happening on 7th of December in Ghana. My name is Akote Amwakwata. We will come your way again very, very soon with a lot more live discussions on the Kente Business Journal. Kindly subscribe to this channel. We are going to be your number one social media or YouTube hub for information with regards to the 2024 general election, all the insights, all the analysis, all the information, and the credible, things that you would need. You need to just subscribe to the KBJ. My name is Akote Amwakwata. I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you very much for joining our live feed. It's bye for now.